Once Ghana's largest licensed cocoa buying company is now grappling with financial collapse. A $10 million loan secured from Cocobod in 2010 to support its subsidiary, PBC Shea Limited, remains unpaid. The factory in Bupe is idle. Employees are owed months of salaries and the parent company has lost significant market share. PBC is on the verge of extinction. In this edition of Hot Issues, we ask the simple question: what happened? I am Keminni Amanor, and in this edition, I sit with the Managing Director of PBC as we examine how a flagship agro-industrial project collapsed under the weight of debt and mismanagement, and what it would take for a revival. My next guest is Alhaji Seydou Iyonye. Alhaji, welcome to Hot Issues.
Thank you, Keminni.
And congratulations on your appointment. It's only been a month.
Sure.
Since you took over the reins of PBC.
Exactly so.
But for, a state institution or company or enterprise that would appear is on the brink of collapse, why did you choose to accept the job there?
Yes, I think it is a calling. And to contribute my quota to Mother Ghana, this is what I think I should be doing, looking at my professional background, coupled with logistics and supply chain and marketing at the back of it. I think I stand the right position of taking PBC and navigating it out of this current situation. And I think the President, His Excellency John Mahama, did not make a mistake. He really did a careful check, and he has taken upon himself the right person that can deliver PBC based on his vision.
So I take it as you believe that the problems or the state of PBC at the moment can be turned around for positive good.
Exactly so. Business is a going concern activity. PBC didn't just come to this at a go. PBC in the early days, since inception, was a very vibrant business that gave a lot of direct and indirect jobs to the Ghanaian economy. I think it recorded close to 35,000 direct and indirect jobs that it gave to Ghanaian economy. PBC went through a lot of stages, success stages, and went to the stock market. This was all as a result of the human factor. Leadership took PBC to that level. Not until 2017 till date that we are seeing PBC going down on its knees to its current, abysmal situation of business.
I see.
I think PBC was doing very great.
What is the depth of that abysmal and current state PBC finds itself in?
Right here, I would be very straightforward. Figures that I'm going to give you are speculative figures, because as it stands, I have not been given any handing over note by my predecessors. I only have information from the handing over of 2016-2017 to the then MPP administration, which I have had some level of information to, that I can talk with some realistic figures.
So what you're telling me is that your information as to the current state of PBC is limited to 2016?
Exactly. That is realistic in terms of realistic figures that I can vouch for. But speculations, because I have not been given a handing over note to authenticate what I would say. Otherwise, I want to be on the speculative figures that I have sourced from data and other journals that I have to my advantage.
I'm happy you brought up the issue of data, because then I was going to ask you if PBC isn't audited. It is audited, isn't it?
It's audited.
So then whatever numbers you share with us today, will be audited figures, but not what has been put in a report to you?
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
From 2023 to date, there have not been any audit report.
From 2020 what?
3.
Okay.
To date, no audit report for PBC.
Is there a reason for that?
They were not in business. That's what they assumed. They were not in business. But if you are not in business, going concern as a business, you need to audit whatever is available. Yes. If even it is your liabilities, you need to know what status they are. We can't say PBC do not have assets. We have them, of course. So at least going concern and prudency calls for at least an audit of their books to ascertain the level at which the business is.
Right. So, I mean, if the president called you today and asked you, where is PBC today? What is the current state of PBC today? What would be your response to the president?
Yes, I will give Mr. President the response that PBC is on its knees. Though we have not gotten authenticated figures, but looking at the environment itself that it operates, it's on its knees. Coupled with the information that is at hand, that is going to the website to draw information, we find out that PBC is not less than a 670 thereabout debt profile. This could be profiled.
Million or billion or?
Million.
Okay.
Profiling this debt, we have the commercial ones. That is what the lendings that they have taken from banks. That is close to about 230-something million.
Right.
And other domestic debts, coupled with salaries that they claim is in arrears. So it's not in its good state. But I must be very clear here that for me, where I sit down, I think PBC can be revamped and made more profitable. If you ask me, just in the introduction, I told you clearly that the human factor plays a lot when it comes to managing an entity. One, your leadership style. It counts. What visions you hold for your business, it also counts. Your strategy, it counts. Good. PBC, in its early days, was led by human beings, giving it a growth, even taking it to the stock market. Then PBC, from 2017 to its collapse, again was led by human beings, bringing it to its knees. So obviously, Keminni, you should see that there's a human factor that is played in here well, in terms of management.
Which means that for you, PBC has had bad managers.
Of course, especially from 2017 to date.
Why is your focus on 2017 to date when you don't even have the data?
Let me tell you something. I have the data for 2016, 2017, which is the handing over note that was given to my predecessors. And you can see that PBC was running on a market share of 30.8%. Then after 2017 to 2021, PBC started crawling, going to 8% market share. Obviously, if you don't have a market share, how vibrant will your business be?
What would you say your market share is today?
0.
Which means that PBC is not playing at all.
Never, for now.
Then what are you there doing?
Yes, I have come to reset and revamp PBC.
But PBC in August of 2024 had workers who were asking for unpaid salaries for 12 months. So I take it as from August of 2023 to the time of the protest, August 2024. If PBC is not actively involved in the cocoa bean market or in the produce market locally, then what business was it running? Why did it have workers? Have you been able to figure out what all of that is about?
Keminni, rightly, I told you that managerial decisions count to either make a business thrive or break the business down. Indeed, as a joint venture, going concern activity, they thought they could, lay hands on some monies to go back to the market to buy. And for that reason, they were keeping these workers. But at a point, they are not able to get money to go because their financial situation was bad. Banks were not ready to lend to them because what they got, they were not able to manage it. You understand? So these workers, because before then, they were already owing them. You understand? So they couldn't have, if you say go, you have to pay them their salaries. If nothing at all, and imagine somebody working with PBC for 16, 17 years. You cannot just throw the person away to go. You have to give the person a package. And the books were not good.
To be able to do that.
To do that. So they were hanging on to and piling more debt on the company.
How many workers do you have now?
Yes, it is envisaged. This is a speculative number that 690, 630 will be nationwide.
Does this include the Golden Bean Hotel in Kumasi?
No, that is a subsidiary on its own. It doesn't include that.
It doesn't include that.
It doesn't be.
So just the produce buying company, parent company itself.
Exactly.
It is estimated that 600 people work there.
Yes.
So all these 600 people who work there, they don't do anything?
They are doing nothing virtually. We have to pay them, which is a very bad managerial decision. Something should have happened.
Over 600 people are doing nothing, but then the government will have to pay them salaries. Now, hang on, I understand what you're saying about severance, right?
Yeah.
So when you went there a month ago, you went to meet staff members who practically were not doing anything because PBC is not on the produce market.
Trust me, Keminni. These people, even we talk of, you hardly find them coming to work. Reason is that they don't even have money to board transport to the workplaces.
Yeah.
And even why I have a problem with these numbers is that it is possible that over these years that they have not been engaged. Some even would have left for other jobs. Some would have, had other things doing and will not be at post. And the few that will be there still, because people are not being prudent in terms of management. They only envisage that, oh, we have 690 workers, as at the time business was booming, as at the last time we conducted business. So it's still the same 690 workers. So for me, where I sit, I am not taking the 690 workers until I make a head count audit of these staffs, so that will justify whatever wage bill I'm going to take over.
I see. Do you think that you need all 690?
One very good thing, Keminni, you see, every business should have an environment in which you operate. A business like PBC, in its early days, the environment that it found itself was different to this. Reason was that PBC was a major LBC with few competitors in the market and acted mostly as the main LBC to Cocobod. So it had a lot of structures. And the organogram within which they operated at that time was fit for that particular period. But today, we are in a period that we have high competition mixed with innovative ways of doing businesses. In most areas, you don't even need human face to conduct your business if you really have the right business models to implement. But PBC, why I said management has always been a problem. Management has not seen all these factors that, look, we are faced with competition, our market share is going down, and that means we need to do something if only we stay profitable. The level of staff we're keeping, the organogram we are running, is it fit for purpose as of today?
What do you think?
It's not.
It's not.
Absolutely. If we need to reset PBC, organogram must be given an in-depth look. It's not everything that is on the organogram that is needed to suit today's business environment. No.
Did you pay last month's salary?
No. As we talk currently, if we are pay what they are reporting, which I still insist, because I have not received the handing over notes, pay what they are reporting, if even last month is going to be added on, it will be about 20 months' salaries that have not been paid to.
20 months?
20 months.
I see. Have you received your salary?
I have not received a salary. But the reason is that it's a business you came to meet bleeding with negative books. Yours is to come and reset. Yours is to come and make sure that you navigate the business out of its current predicament. Being focused on salary would take off much of your attention. It's service to the country. If I make sure that the business stands on its foot well, I'll be rewarded. Absolutely. Because if the business has no money, where are they going to pay me from?
Right.
So it is my duty. I should feel part of the pain. After all, the staff that were there for 20 months have not been paid. They are going through what I should go through. I'm just going it for 1 month. So this will pin me to the wall that something radically has to be done to put the business back to its feet.
At the same time, you don't know the scope of the challenge that PBC poses at this time because you didn't receive handing over notes.
I cannot say that, Kamina.
Oh, you can't say that?
I can't say that. I'll be a liar.
Okay.
Because even going in for that appointment, I knew what. That's why I always want to be very straightforward. Speculation. I knew because I had gone in, I had read a lot about PBC.
Okay.
I knew the challenges they have gone through, the dynamics, and even where the trend of PBC going down, losing its market share started. Look, one, PBC total mismanagement
is the reason.
Is the reason.
But do you know why you didn't get a handing over note?
Let me tell you one thing. When I came to office, I didn't meet my predecessor, who is the CEO, Cocobod Cancer. I heard after December's election, he left for UK. And since then, he's not been back yet. I called him on phone and had a conversation with him, asking him of handing over. He responded that for now, he was not that free to make himself available. But he had spoken to his subordinates, which is the DMD, Finance and Admin, to put together all the sector heads' notes so that they can do a handing over to me. But it will surprise you to know that DMD operations, which is in the name of one Mr. Alfred, was also vying for a parliamentary seat in the Wenchi constituency. So before even December, this man had handed over to DMD, Finance and Admin, and gone to campaign. This very same person took over from the CEO, who is my predecessor, and one person being DMD Ops, DMD Finance and Administration, and Managing Director. What do you think will happen?
You tell me what happened.
Conflict of interest, of course. I hear she says she's a chartered accountant. I think the last time I saw her eye to eye, I asked her, my sister, per your professional background, don't you think it's unethical for one person to run these games if you don't have an interest, a personal interest in what you do?
And what did she say to you?
What would she say? No. It is the board that asked me to. I said, but the board cannot let you play this role. Then the board itself is tied to something. So, Keminni, on the back of this, I immediately, after that meeting, I told her, please, I want you to come to the office because you need to do a handing over. She told me that she had to hand over to my predecessor and that my predecessor will hand over to me. I said, but you have taken the place of my predecessor, acting and signing checks and whatever on his behalf. Why is it that you can't hand over? So she told me that, yes, she had been, her appointment has been terminated by the presidency. And that is why I said, but it is a fiduciary role you are playing. Anyone playing a fiduciary role knows that you are accountable to your fiduciary owners. So why is it that you are not prepared to account? We had that log. Then she told me to write officially, inviting. I said, no, I don't want to become part of an illegality. Your appointment has been terminated. You are owing a lot of office informations. And as it were, it's not like nobody is there. I am there. Please hand over to me or hand over to the existing board members and the board chairman so that I can take the notes from them and know what to do. So she told me that she had petitioned the presidency for terminating her appointment. So I met the board chairman and asked, Mr. Chairman, I am asking this lady to make herself available. She's asking me to write, but I don't want to write as against any will of His Excellency the President. He has terminated. But as it requires administratively, she has to hand over because her role that she was acting was a fiduciary role. And coming to see the role she was, 3 roles being acted on by one person. There's a little bit of conflict of interest that I smell here.
Right.
So if he is writing at the back of petitioning the presidency, then give me a copy of the presidency. I have assumed responsibility. I will take that copy, go to the presidency, and find out what level this petition has gotten to, so that we can draw some conclusions to it and make sure that she's subpoenaed to come and hand over. The board chairman told me, yes, he's going to get that document available to me. Till date, as we talk.
Never happened.
Never happened. I was then compelled that maybe asking for an immediate forensic audit could subpoena her to come back to office, to come and give the books out for audit to be done. I wrote to the Auditor General requesting for an agent forensic audit into the books of PBC right from 2017 to date, the close of April 2025, because that was when I came to take over. And Keminni, reason is that I am taking over office today. Of course, at any given time, I will leave office again. But I know that it is a fiduciary position. I must be responsible. So if I am leaving, I have to submit a handing over note. What would justify the handing over that I'm going to give to the one taking over from me? At least an audit report from where I am taking over would support my audit, my handing over note to the one taking over. That is responsibility. But if you occupy that position, you don't want to be responsible, then there is something more than what we all know.
Is the old board still in place?
Just last week, we were successfully, we were good to go when we had new reps from Senate, which is the major shareholder, Minister of Finance, a major shareholder, and the minority shares holders, about 4 of them, including myself from the executive side.
So you have a reconstituted board?
We have that board member's nominee, but it is left with the finance minister to, because that's the sector that we find ourselves under. He is then to confirm it and send it to presidency for the letters of appointment to be written to them.
There's a lot more to talk about, and I want us to come back to the issue of your staff strength, the non-payment of salaries.
I want to end here on this very issue so that we get it clear. Now, I think one thing that is holding us back from what I have just told you is because we have not had in place a new board.
Right.
So I think what we need as a matter of agency, if only we want to go on this agenda of resetting, is to institute the new board as quick as possible.
Reconstitute your board as soon as
quick
possible.
as possible.
And right now, it's the finance ministry that's holding you back.
Yeah, I actually had a word with him yesterday,
Okay.
and he has promised that he would look at it immediately and get it done.
Okay. Yes. So the sooner they bring their representatives on, the faster PBC
would start we start seeing some progress in terms of resetting.
I see. When we come back, Seydou, let's touch on a few other issues to do with your debt portfolio, how you plan to turn this around, how you plan to ensure that PBC returns to profitability so you are able to earn salary yourself, and then also your staff as well. Don't go away.
I've always taken upon myself challenges. I always want to make a difference. Trust me, if I'm able to put this, which I will do, fix PBC back, it's a track record for me, and I would have left behind something as a legacy trace. So I'm all out for it. And I want to also be part of the success story of His Excellency, the President John Dramani Mahama. Obviously, you will see that just within 5 months, what governance, good governance, has been under his armpit. Trust me, I want to be part of that success story. So I don't show any regret at all. And I'm poised to do what he has asked me and tasked me to do. I will do it. I will deliver.
A few of the problems you have to deal with, apart from the what appears to be the bureaucracy of work around there, which you're hoping to change. You talked about the organogram of PBC being reformed. What kinds of reforms are you looking at?
One, we are looking at restructuring. Downsizing would come in. Because the numbers might not be needed. And that will be in the future. We are also looking at restructuring based on a very unique and innovative business model that we are going to run, which means that certain things should not be placed the way they are. Trust me, certain activities will not happen. Coupled with innovative ways of doing business, trust me, we are going to turn around PBC like no one's business. Because I always ask myself a question. My former company, Olam, is into the same segment. It's even my competitor. And Olam, in buying cocoa produce, is doing very well. Managed by people. with similar structures. But even Olam do not have the infrastructure PBC have, trust me. Olam do not have the quarter of the infrastructure PBC have when it comes to cocoa. But because they have prudent management, they are being more profitable in their business. Other small LBCs are doing very well. So why is it that PBC can't do it? The mindsetting of the people, the way they used to do things. They still feel those days should still be today. When they need to change their ways of doing things.
I see. Another thing you'd have to deal with is the debt portfolio for PBC. You mentioned some 600 plus million, you said.
That's what I'm looking at, not precisely because I told you my situation of not having handing over notes. These are speculative figures.
We also know that PBC stopped paying its debt to Cocobod. So that $10 million debt loan, $10 million loan it took from Cocobod back in 2010. By 2020, 2021, PBC had stopped paying Cocobod. So you have that one too on hand.
Yeah, I know.
The question now will be how you plan to pay your debts when you don't have money, when you are not even doing business at all.
Let me tell you something. For me, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, trust me, he has a lot of good faith in PBC. See how viable PBC can be if well managed. And I know if myself and the team working on a turnaround strategy for PBC, if we are done with it and we give it to our stakeholders, shareholders, various interest parties, and they look at it, obviously it's going to show good numbers, doable numbers. And this will encourage the government even to try to bail out PBC. Trust me, government has even taken a step somewhere because Senate is one of our biggest shareholders.
All right, so let's run it back. PBC needs government bailout.
Exactly.
Are you getting that bailout?
Minister of Finance, who is one of our shareholders, has told us no, he doesn't have money to give us to bail out. We have to work it out ourselves. If we need to sell assets, let's sell. But me, I don't believe in selling. Selling is a no-go area. I don't believe in it because I have to add up. I don't come to sell.
Okay.
So we are in talks with, and the government has created some platform. We are in talks with the next biggest shareholder, which is Senate. And what we are trying to come out with is to see the possibility of Senate unveiling that burden of liability on us from the banks, so that at least it can give our books a good look, so that we can then use off-takers. Off-takers are people, processors that we buy for and earn a commission through CMC and Cocobod, so that if we are able to work with off-takers for some time, we'll be able to recoup some working capital, then come back strongly.
Right. So again, just for our viewers who may not know why you brought in the issue of the banks, last year, PBC was almost losing its assets thanks to a court order to some 6 local banks. I take it as that didn't go through. Or were those assets sold?
No, they were not, of
Those
course.
assets were not sold,
yeah.
Which means you still owe those banks and they'll be coming for you. What you're telling us now is that you are making an arrangement or having an arrangement with SNIT to be able to deal with those banks.
Yes.
So you find the money and give to those banks. And then what's next is the plan?
The plan is that we have a turnaround plan of the business, which at least would give us some reasonable numbers in terms of working. Because PBC is the main, used to be the main, LBC for Cocobod. And LBCs are agents to Cocobod. We buy for Cocobod, and Cocobod give us commissions for that. You understand? So in the absence of Cocobod not being able to give us money to buy for it, it means we have to look for off-takers, which are processors. They come as off-takers, route the money through Cocobod to the LBC. You buy and send it through Cocobod to the off-taker, and you get back a commission. So if we are able to get good off-takers, trust me, if in a season we are able to do 50,000 metric tons, which is not very different. We can do it because we have what it takes to do. Against all odds, we'll be looking at, a profit that's after expenditures and everything, interest payment and all those things. We'll be looking at a profit of close to 70,000.
Why will those 70,000 what?
70 million Ghana cedis, not 70,000.
Annually?
Annually.
Okay. But why will the off-takers find PBC attractive?
Yes, because at least PBC over the time has had that leverage. We were very credible until the woes of PBC starting in 2023. People wouldn't have even known that PBC had problems. It was when Cocobod, being the main off-taker to PBC, was not able to give money to PBC to buy for it. That was when the whole thing broke loose.
What does SNIT get back for bailing you out with the banks?
Look, let me tell you something. SNIT is also holding in trust the workers' pension schemes for them.
Yes.
Right now, I have subsidiaries of businesses. So I'm doing an arrangement. SNIT cannot give me that money just aloof like that. I'm making an arrangement with them that, look, my very vibrant cash cow, which is the Golden Beam Hotel in Kumasi, is one of the lucrative businesses, subsidiaries of PBC.
Indeed.
We are going to use that to mortgage for it. There should be a reason for SNIT giving us money to bail us out from that predicament. But it will be on condition. If we are able to pay back to SNIT that amount that it has used to bail us off, at least to give us some breathing space to be able to turn ourselves around. Because once they bail us off, at least our books will be good with the banks. So we can start having investor confidence again. Just like I was saying that the off-takers will be attracted more to come based on our structures, based on the infrastructure we have and the know-how as a leading partner in that LBC industry. Off-takers will be more attracted to us because we have the capacity.
Right.
And that would give us that leverage. Because trust me, as even PBC is not going to the market, but there are still activities that go in the market on the name of PBC. Why is it that? PBC, as at 2016, 2017, we're having close to 593,000 farmers around all the cocoa growing areas. And we had close to 11,400 CMCs. These CMCs are the cocoa marketing clerks. These CMCs interface for PBC with the farmers. They source the bean from the farmers for us. So if you see our market share, and that was what we're using to do, the close to 30.8% market share.
Yeah.
This opportunity is still available for PBC. So assuming we are able to bail ourselves through SNIT out the banks, this opportunity is still available for us to go and harness. What we need to do is to go back, reassemble these people, have our word with them, engineer them, and put them back to work.
I see.
Because as we are not even there, but some of the LBCs are riding behind the goodwill of PBC, using them. So it's very easy to get that
them back.
And that can give us our good days numbers again.
How long do you think this recovery will take?
For me, looking at it, I think by close of July, we should be done with the aspect of the banks. There is a pre-season that is coming, opening in August, which we are also anticipating to do business in, at least to go back, use that as a leverage to go back to our markets and start talking to our people while we're doing some business. In August this year, we are expecting some action.
I see.
We are not going to, we would be in the market while solving the other problems.
Speaking of the markets, we know there were plans to list PBC on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Those plans halted along the lines. I take it as you will reignite those processes?
Of course. One, we want to take it from its quagmire. We want to take it from where it is, put it on a good sound footing, then we project it up. You understand? Once we are able to do this sufficiently, trust me, we can, with what we see, with the set of innovations that we are coming with, PVC, of course, will be a vibrant business. Keminni, let me tell you something. Do you know, PVC is not only supposed to be centered on cocoa buying. Do you know that? Cashew is doing very well.
Yes.
PVC can buy cashew too. The plant at Bipe,
the shea
butter factory, on a 16-acre land with a capacity of producing 200 metric tons a day. We can do better. That shea factory, if kept into real good use, trust me, can pay off its liabilities with Cocobod within 2-3 years.
Will you revive the shea?
We will do it. Of course, we need to give jobs. We have invested. We can't throw it into the bottom. It's the public's money. We need to make sure that we get it back as a going concern entity. Look, that machine there in BP, aside churning out butter, you can use that machine to churn out soya bean oil. The byproduct of soya bean oil, which is the byproduct that is left, can be used in producing poultry feed. That means you are going to make some additional gains. You could even choose to reduce the cost of the soya oil to fight competition, but you back up by
So Alhaji, what I'm hoping you tell me is, for instance, what moves you're making, because it would appear that the recovery plan for PBC as a produce buyer may not necessarily be the same for its subsidiary, the PBC Shea Limited.
Shea Limited.
Right? And so what moves have you made already towards PBC Shea Limited? It sounds like a very feasible plan.
Yes, I am behind the scene, just because we don't have the board.
Yeah.
But I am behind the scene working with other consultants and even the technical person to that factory, that he should give me is to supply me with a technical report of that plant. Then based on the technical report, I will have a consultancy to look at how we can work around this machine, using its own resources to generate more and deliver it from its current situation. You see, there's one interesting thing we need to know. Looking at the strength of that machine there in BP, look, you can even get cottonseed oil from it. And the byproduct can be used to feed cattle. Ouagadougou is doing a lot of cotton. The seed, they are doing nothing with it there. We can go into contract with them. Give us the seed, we'll produce the oil, we'll take the oil and give you the what? The byproduct to use it to feed your cattle. It's a 50-50. We have not bought in the raw material, but we are making something out of it using our machine. And that alone can give us a lot of money. Internally, we'll be solving a market need. Externally, we can also generate some funds within our neighboring countries. And aside that very plant in Bipe, you know, it can also churn out cocoa butter. You understand? Cocoa butter, you know, when we go to buy, the pick, this rotten cocoa bean, the chaff of that, it goes to a waste. So if we are buying it and using it there to feed into the machine to churn out butter so that we can export, we'll be earning hard currency, coming to add up to the original core business.
But have you seen this Bupe factory?
I've not seen it for now.
Okay.
I'm yet to visit that place.
Okay.
But based on the information that I've had on speculations, reading from the website of PBC, and also the previous handing over note of 2016, 2017, this is the information at hand, which I feel if we put a very innovative business package to that place, we don't need to even go loan money to come and run it. We would use the place to run on its own and pay off its liabilities.
When we come back, we'll talk about that $10 million Cocobod loan because as we know, that money was taken to finance Shea Limited, PBC Shea Limited, and then it went down the drain. So we'll find out, how you plan to pay that money and whether or not the factory as it is today at Wipe has the capacity for which you say you have read about. Don't go away.
Parents, mark your calendars. It's the 3FM Baby Fair happening live on the 11th to the 13th of July at Marina Mall Airport City in Accra from 10 a.m. and it's absolutely free. From baby essentials and kids wear to toys, skincare, educational material, and so much more. Shop amazing deals on a wide range of childcare products all under one roof. Don't miss our sessions with the Ghana Pediatric Society and all the amazing mums with the Mum Circle, a safe space for young mothers to share tips and connect. And there will be fun activities for the kids with our Kids Corner, games for the family, good food, and great vibes all around. To be a vendor, please call 0531 100 927 or 0532 200 927. It's the 3FM Baby Fair, your one-stop event for all your childcare needs.
Welcome back. It's still hot issues here on TV3. My guest is Seidu Yoni, who is the MD for PBC Limited. Alaji, again, thank you so much for your patience. While you narrated to us how you plan to restructure PBC's debts, you didn't mention the Cocobod debt and how you plan to pay that. What is the plan for that one?
Yeah, Cocobod's debt, I think it's a long-term plan for Cocobod. Trust me, the business is a going concern business. Indeed, that 10 million USD was given out to invest in the BP share plant. And somewhere along the line, I think there were some mishappenings. But that doesn't mean we will not pay. Trust me, you will see investment made in BP. And as I was just telling you, we have a 200,000 metric ton capacity producing butter producing machine installed there on a 16-acre land.
And you think it could be made profitable?
Obviously, that machine that is sitting in BP is a multi-purpose machine. One, it churns out the butter of shea nut. It can also churn out butter of what? Cocoa.
When you make money from there, you would use that to pay off your debts. Is that correct?
Obviously.
Okay.
Obviously. We need to use that business to work for itself and pay. One, we can't get an investor, a strategic investor, because we don't have that cash liquidity now. to inject some money into BP, thereby offloading some part of our shares to that investor, so that we can go in to buy the raw material.
Where I was going with that point is, what are the timelines you are associating with the recovery for PBC Share Limited in Bupe?
We have our turnaround plan, which is not left PBC shares in BP out of it. We have a working plan. The initial one was we have a short-term, medium-term, and long-term with 6 months interval. The first short-term was to look at the administrative issues surrounding the whole PBC PLC in terms of its liabilities, in terms of restructuring, in terms of a going concern business. Or everything that look administrative, within the first 6 months we have taken office, we need to work it out. So that will give us access to going back to the market. The second 6 months, that's the medium time, is where we need to put in place the structures. I mean, solid structures, so that in the future, if I'm not even there and somebody comes, if he's doing something wrong, the system itself would expose that person.
I see. How will you describe PBC's working relationship with Cocobod today?
Yes, PBC's working relationship, actually, it's not that good, but as a family, I think Cocobod still needs PBC, and PBC will need Cocobod. Trust me, Keminni, PBC, in all odds, as an LBC to Cocobod, will be the only state LBC that will stand for Cocobod should there be any crisis in the cocoa industry. That other LBCs who are business concerned, profit targeted only, will not stand for, will not vouch for Cocobod. It has happened before. When cocoa beans in the country somewhere in 2024, 2004, thereabout, had a problem, PBC was able to salvage, go hand in hand with Cocobod to salvage the situation. And trust me, even in some areas, in some no-go areas that the local LBCs do not want to go because it's not profitable, especially in the Volta Lake line, the Volta Lane. There's cocoa growing area there. Local LBCs don't want to go there because it's not profitable to them. But must PBC leave it out? We are operating in all those areas. In the worst situation areas, we are operating just because it is our core mandate to make sure that we bring this cocoa back to Cocobod.
I see.
So actually, it will be in the interest of Cocobod to make sure that PBC is well situated, so that alongside they scratch our back, we scratch their back. We are not saying that they are not doing enough, but we still need their support to stand. It's one way of it that maybe it's a human-led institution. Human beings maybe might have made it gone bad, but human beings again can put PBC on a good footing. So Cocobod should have that trust.
I see. But so explain to us, when you went around on your familiarization tours, some CSMCs complained about not receiving their commissions.
My sister, this is a mirage. You see, I'm surprised. It happened. Almost everywhere I went, CMCs kept complaining. Oh, we have still not received our commission 2023, 2024. Why? I asked them the question, have you delivered your bills? They said they delivered to PBC. PBC has equally delivered to what? Cocobod. Cocobod has paid PBC all its margins. And the CMC's commissions are in the margins that Cocobod paid to PBC. So my sister, you have received these margins of the CMCs, and you have not given them the money. Where is this money? These are the reasons why I want my predecessors to come to book and explain to us so that we'll have a better understanding going forward. Trust me, we can't manage state institutions like this. Trust me, just as I cite the example, Olam is doing well in the cocoa industry. Why can't PBC do it when they even have infrastructures better than Olam? No, it is not proper. It's not proper. Because people are not being responsible. People do things the way they want to do it. This is not the time for this. Trust me, any human being that is found wanting in the audit that is to be established, I will not let you go free with it. I am going to use it as basis, as yardsticks, so that if I say to Yonye, I'm leaving PBC, anyone taking over, if I also run it the way my predecessors have run it, they should hold me. We must learn to be accountable. We must learn to be accountable.
Indeed. Will it be a better option if government shut down PBC, ended its business for good?
No, that will not solve the problem. If even you are going to shut it down, look at a lot of people going home without jobs. It will create another national security issue to us. Aside that, PBC, for its intended existence, for government bringing it in, it brought it in for a reason. Reason was that to motivate the agric sector, farmers ensure that they are able to look for market for farm produce outside and inside the country. And also to ensure that they are able to support the farmers by way of standardization of prices. So if any farmer in the agri sector knows that if I produce XYZ amount, PBC is there to be able to buy it and sell off at a standardized price, you see that the farmers will be encouraged to do what? To produce more. But this is what we have not done over time, capitalizing our strength only on cocoa, which does 6 months alone activity. The remaining 6 months is there no activity, but we pay wage bills for that. So I think if we look outside the cocoa, looking at cashew, looking at the shea, looking at soybean, looking at sesame, we can earn a lot of hard currency. We can earn a lot of hard currency to support and augment the cocoa side.
We wish you all the best, Alhaji.
Thank you, Keminni.
Alhaji Seydou Yonye is the MD for PBC Limited. We've been discussing the possible recovery path for the state-owned enterprise that is on the brink of extinction or collapse, so to speak. I am Keminni Amanor, and this is Hot Issues.